Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick. This is a channel called Watchlist Roulette, a channel dedicated to cinema and the discussion of cinema. Today, we are following up early summer with another audio-only episode, which is cool, and I really like doing the Watchlist Roulette videos this way. So I think I might continue doing it for a while until maybe I want to go back to videos. I don't know. We don't know where the road is going to take us. But today, we are discussing, I believe this is the 20th film in this series I'm doing called Watchlist Roulette, where films are generated for me at random, and then I watch them and discuss them and kind of review them for you and share my thoughts on them. So if you're new here, that's what I do. I jumble up a watch list of over 1,200 films, and whatever I get is whatever I get, and the randomizer does not discriminate. It gives us whatever it feels like. And it gave us Body Heat by director Lawrence Kasdan, William Hurt, I believe Kathleen Turner, Ted Danson. Great supporting bit for Ted Danson in this film. But in the spirit of Body Heat, which is a film that takes place in Florida during this heat wave in the 80s, I am in Florida. When I picked this from the randomizer, I didn't actually know I'd be coming here, but it's just a nice coincidence. I thought, what the hell? Let's do this episode while I'm here in Florida. We are recording outside. There are small little lizards running around near me. I have a blue moon at hand. The oranges and whatever other citrus grows here are blossoming quite nice in the trees above me. And there is a bit of a breeze coming through. So if that fucks with the mic or the audio, I do apologize, but it's too nice here. I live in Canada, and right now it's probably minus 10 back there. I want to talk about Body Heat. So Body Heat, if I just sum it up for you quickly, if you haven't seen this film, or maybe you have, here's the recap, here's the rehash. William Hurt's character plays a lawyer, a small-time lawyer, who gets involved with this beautiful woman he meets on a boardwalk one night. She is married to somebody who's pretty wealthy. In the midst of this meeting, this tug and pull, this tug of war between these two characters with a great sexual tension, this blossoming of an affair happens, and the two of them kind of hitch to each other's wagons. I think that's the right saying. And in the process, this affair turns into love. It's not love, but that's the way they see it. And there becomes an idea to take the old man, the old asshole of a rich husband, out of the picture. And this is a concept that's been it's been done so many times. Body Heat is not the first, and it is not the last. I mean, I don't know how many. I don't know if I can name some off the top of my head. There's one I'm going to compare it to in a minute, but it is very much of that, cut from that cloth. If you've seen a film like that, you kind of know what you're getting into with Body Heat. But the things that make Body Heat unique are the atmosphere and the environment and the heat wave, and the fact that the hotter it gets in this Florida area they're in, the crazier people become, the more aggressive and violent and desperate people become. And that anger and desperation and surging idea for violence comes to a head in Body Heat. Very much that foreshadowing by a lot of characters talking about the deadly nature of the heat wave. That foreshadowing comes to fruition with some deadly consequences in Body Heat. And this film is 80s as hell. It is fucking horny as hell. That, like, horniness and lust is a vehicle that helps transport this really snarky, snappy, back and forth dialogue between William Hurt's character and Kathleen Turner's character. That dialogue reminded me a lot of classic noirs. And the first film I'm going to bring up is Double Indemnity by Billy Wilder. Double Indemnity is a film I've talked about on this channel before. It's a film that I love. It's a perfect film. I just spilled my beer. That's good. That's a good idea. Good job, idiot. But it is very much, Body Heat is very much in the line of being like a poor man's Double Indemnity. But that doesn't mean that it's a poor film whatsoever. It is just a film that is a modern noir with the snappy dialogue, descriptive writing, two-faced characters who don't necessarily show their hand in the beginning, but the craziness of their characters unfurl as you go through the film. It very much felt like taking the prototypical Hollywood noir and jolting it forward into the future in an atmosphere that, I don't know, just feels very vibrant and unique. And I guess sexy would be the word, because that's all this film is doing. And as you get further into the schemes of trying to murder a rich husband, there are a lot of twists, a lot of turns, The heat in this film, as well as the heat wave that parallels it, rises. So do a lot of other things. The humor in it. Ted Danson's character, who's don't even know how to explain Ted Danson's character, but he's this odd comic foil to William Hurt's lawyer character. He's, peppy. He never shuts up. He dances around like Fred Astaire through parking lots, through buildings, through diners, and Ted Danson is a guy I love. Maybe that's only from his bits of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he is very, very young here, but just enigmatic and full of life, but also becomes tangled in the web of what's going on with his buddy, played by William Hurt, the lawyer, and all through the process of trying to build a concept for murdering a husband and finding a way to get away with it, like the perfect crime, where nothing can be traced back to you. You can retrieve money through a will and live happily ever after with your new lover and start a new life over. So many kind of sticky situations come into play. A lot of angles that were not explored by the perpetrators are now coming back to bite them. And it just becomes a very twisty, turny story. Many twists. Like, I could probably count at least 3 twists, and I don't want to spoil them if you haven't seen it. If you have, all I'm going to say is there's a twist with a will. There's a twist with a name and something that happens in a boathouse, and characters not being who they seem. And this is something that is, I think, heavily inspired by films like Double Indemnity, where you were seeing a love affair take place, but you're seeing somebody get screwed and somebody get used to the point where all of that betrayal goes straight over the protagonist's head. And that happens in Double Indemnity with Fred McMurray's character, avec Barbara Stanwyck, and it happens here with William Hurt's cool, chain-smoking, sweaty fucking, like, I forgot to mention how much William Hurt's character just chain smokes and sweats his balls off. He goes running and jogging down the boardwalk, and the first thing he does, panting, hanging on for dear life in his attempt at exercise, is to light one up. And everybody in the fucking film smokes. It is very much cut from the noir cloth, but that's something I love, and I love to see it repurposed in a little bit of a more modern setting. I do love that. Between the two characters, William Hurt and Kathleen Turner, this back and forth with this lust, there's a lot of kind of clunky, kind of cheesy, cliche, horny dialogue of endearment between the two characters. At first, I was kind of thrown off by that and kind of turned off by it, but by the end of the film, you realize that's by design. Like many times when somebody's faking to love somebody else and they want to, not blow their cover, they're going to be as endearing and as sensational as they can be with their choice of words, and some of the exchanges between Hurt and Turner are kind of cheesy, cheesy and overdone, but I think that's the point. She's trying to kind of hold him in her trap by showing him affection that is overzealous to unbelievable degree. There's a line in this film where, again, horniest film ever, just fucking murder, a little bit more fucking, walking up to the wrong people and saying, "Hey lady, you wanna fuck?" There's so many. It is one of the horniest films ever made. And if you're into that, if you are seeing it, hearing this and seeing this, and you've never seen it, and you're into things like that, somewhere between standing at the precipice of what would be softcore porno and Hollywood films, and where they intersect, oh boy, this is a film for you, undoubtedly. If you are looking for noirs that show somebody in a love interest trying to take on the world, us versus them, and removing things from your life to create a new one and find freedom financially and spiritually and romantically, this is a film that takes on that concept pretty well. This is a very good film. I really liked it. It was kind of a fun one and done for me. I'm not totally sure if it's one that I would see again at some point, but maybe somewhere down the line I could see it happening. I could also see it getting some sort of boutique label release from Criterion or Arrow or something, or Kino. I don't know if it already has one. I could be wrong, but I will say it does feel like a noir light. It's just a peg lower than some of the greats that came before it that maybe inspired it. And I've mentioned Double Indemnity a bunch of times, but this is really a film that it reminds me of. And films like Double Indemnity, to me, are fucking perfect. So if you see Body Heat and you really like it and you've never seen Double Indemnity, give that a shot, because fucking it'll probably blow you away. And I prefer it to Body Heat. I guess maybe I'm just saying that Body Heat is a really solid time, but not necessarily reaching the heights of the great noirs that came before it and inspired it, which is totally cool, but it's definitely worth a watch. And it's definitely one that I'm glad that I got, because I never would have went and watched it on my own. and I'm glad I finally got to it, all by the way of randomization. So again, I love doing this Watchlist Roulette series because you discover shit that you would not pick out on your own in your free time, and it gives you an opportunity to capitalize on finding films that maybe would have just sat on the shelf for ages, and then you get to see them and you figure out what it's all about. So hell yeah, that's the reason I do this, and that pretty much sums up my feelings toward Body Heat. Really solid, really liked it, maybe not to the point of loving it, because I just think there are other noirs that do this concept a bit better, but that's totally okay. It's still well worth the watch. Great ensemble, great twists and turns, totally entertaining, and a raunchy, horny, steamy mess if that's what you're into. So hell yeah, man. That's Body Heat by Lawrence Kasdan. The next film is film number 21, which is Foxcatcher by Bennett Miller. I don't actually know if I'm going to enjoy watching this, but the name of the game is that you have to give it a shot, and I will, probably on the plane ride back home, because that just seems like the type of film you would watch on a plane. We could make a letterbox list about movies you watch on a plane, ones that just feel right to watch on a plane, and I believe Foxcatcher, by the time I end up watching it, will fit into that criteria. So hey, whatever. But hell yeah, join me next week for that. That'll be the last film of March. A new slate of randomized films will be coming in April, and that video picking those films, which I have a lot of fun doing, will be coming out at the beginning of April, hopefully. And a whole new slate of films to talk about by random. It's gonna be fucking awesome, as it always is. If you are new here and you like what you hear and you like what you see from the videos in the channel, you can subscribe to Watchlist Roulette. The letterbox handle will be there, so on and so forth. This is a haven of just discussing film and cinema for the sake of film and cinema, art for the sake of art, and just shooting the shit talking about movies. If you're into that, welcome aboard. Glad to have you, and I hope to see you for the next one. So without further ado, take care of yourself, and I'll see you later.